Okay, so next let's see if we can figure out the volume of those two cylinders that we made. Okay, so I know we talked a little bit about how to find volume with um, the prism activity that we did last week, okay, over the last few days. But let's focus just more on cylinders right now and see if we can figure out how that form, or maybe a formula for how it's calculated, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at the cylinder that I have on my screen. Right now it has a radius, okay, so distance from the center out of 2 and a height of 0. So obviously the volume is 0, okay? It's got no thickness to it at all, it wouldn't be holding anything, okay? But what happens if I make my height go to be 1 unit? Okay, so basically I'm going to end up with like 1 layer right here. All right, so how much volume is there in there now? How are they getting this volume of 12.57? Okay, well, let's think about what shape the base is. The base is a circle. Okay, do you remember how to find the area of any circle? Do you remember how we take radius times pi? So I'm going to go ahead and take 2 times 2 times 3.14 to get our approximate value. Okay, and that's probably where this is coming from, that 12.57 or so. Now, maybe they used the pi button instead and rounded 2 times 2 times, let's see, the pi button. Okay, so and if you rounded, that's probably how they came up with 12.57 instead of 12.56. Okay, but 1 layer. So they did the area of the circle times 1 layer. Okay, since I just had a height of 1. Now what happens if I move my height up to 2 layers? Okay, let's notice how the volume changed. It's still my same circle. Okay, so a single layer would be 2 times 3.14. That's how much would fit in 1 layer. But now instead of just being 1 layer, I've got 2 layers. Okay, so does it make sense that my volume be 25 point, and again, they probably use the pi button in their calculations right here instead. All right, so, and then what if I upped it to 3 layers? Okay, so I'm going to do my radius times about 3.14 for the area of 1 circle, but now I have 3 layers. Okay, so to see where they're getting those numbers from, even if they did 3.5 layers, if I did 3.5 layers high, okay, all I still really need to do is take the area of the base, which is a circle, radius times 3.14 times the number of layers, which ends up being the number that connects the two circles over my height. So so times 3.5. Okay, so knowing that, see if you can now figure out the volume of your two cylinders. Okay, so think about what might that radius be. So let's say the radius was like, 3 instead. Okay, and then the height was, say 4. I'm going to do my radius times pi. That gives me the area of 1 layer. And then how many layers high do I have? I've got 4. Okay, so do you see how that gives me what this volume is right here? Okay, so I want you to try and find now the volume of your two cylinders.